The two hottest lists for wholesaling real estate right now. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we're going to share with you exactly the two hottest lists you must be polling for wholesaling real estate right now to have success, get deals, and actually talk to motivated sellers. I see so many wholesalers, they ask me, what's the hottest list? What's the best list to be going after? And the truth is there's only two that we can even talk about today, where when you talk to these sellers, they are the most motivated. Mm-hmm. They are the most ready to go, and they are ready to sell as soon as possible. And guess what? You make the most money. That is the point in what we're talking about today. And we're super excited, jacked up today to get you in the driver's seat to start closing wholesaling real estate deals. So let's break this all down. Let's just get straight into it and break down what you need to start doing to get rich wholesaling real estate. So the first thing we got to talk about is, what is the hottest list? Like, what is my definition? What do I mean by the hottest list? Well, my definition of the hottest list would be the most motivated, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be the person that is the most motivated to sell and get rid of the property. That is it. That, in my opinion, overall, is exactly what the most motivated type of list is. It's the hottest. And what's the hottest list? It's the most motivated list that the person's looking to sell and just get rid of the property.
Yeah.
And so that is exactly what we're talking about today. How to get in front of the hottest motivated sellers. That is it. And so really also the hottest lists are going to be the lists that are going to produce the best ROI, or what we call ROT. So return on time and return on investment. Why is ROT and ROI so important for wholesaling real estate?
Well, most people just look at their ROI, which is it's just a math problem on that. And you got to understand that your time is your greatest asset of all. So in the beginning, you're going to give up a ton of your time. But as you get better in wholesaling, the idea is you want to get a return on your time. So if whatever it used to take you 4 hours as a beginner, you can cut it down to 5-10 minutes once you figure out your ROT. So guys, when you're looking at any method in wholesaling, make sure you calculate your ROI, but you add your ROT on it. And that will tell you if you're progressing and you are actually making progress as a wholesaler. Any other way? Because time is expensive in the long run. So in the beginning, you're going to give up a lot of time. And in return, the idea is to make you more efficient, a better wholesaler. That's why ROT is so important when you calculate between ROI and ROT.
I get it all the time. I get wholesalers out here that they go after lists, but they don't know exactly the right or the perfect types of lists to be going after. So what I want to do is really share exactly these type of lists right now, so you can go out here and start doing well. So let's break this all down. Let's get into it, and let's start making a ton of money wholesaling. So you got to first understand too, when you talk to these type of leads, when you talk to these type of motivated sellers, right, you want to talk to those who have the highest chance of wanting to sell. You want to talk to the motivated sellers that have the highest chance that when you talk to them, hey, they're looking to sell the property now. They're looking to get rid of it. They got to go, right? And it all comes down to one simple phrase, I could say. Rick thinks a little crazy, but it's completely true right now. In wholesaling real estate, you want to get the most motivated type of list possible. You're going to have to be doing what the kids call pushing P. Now, that's why we got the background. We got pushing P. This guy's pushing a P. That's what it is. Okay. Now, I know it sounds silly to say, but there's a reason why we've been kind of saying this a lot. And, it's kind of funny to think about or say, but there's a method to the madness of why we're doing what we're saying today, right? There's a method of it, right? So pushing P, that's what it is. You know what that is?
I've heard it before. Don't try to embarrass me on air.
No. So basically, if we go to the definition of pushing P, which I'll break it down for you. All right. A lot of people say pushing positivity. But basically, what pushing P is, according to dictionary.com, it's a slang term meaning acting with integrity, style, and displaying one's success. So you remain true to yourself and to your friends. Okay. and maintaining wealth success. So, it's a funny song. It's a good song from Ghana. It's called Push and P. Okay. Now, the reason why we're saying that is, first of all, being a guru, you're not pushing P. Giving free wholesaling advice is pushing P, right? Mm-hmm. Making money, flex on gurus is pushing P. So pushing P. It's a rap song. Listen to it. It's pretty dang good. But the reason why we're saying this, not to mess with you, but pushing P is you're making money. You're getting after the bag, right? And unbeknownst to Rick, the 2 top motivated lists have the word P in it. So that's kind of why we came up with pushing P for wholesaling real estate. So more specifically, probates and pre-foreclosures. Really think about that hard. Probates and pre-foreclosures, because probates have the highest ROI off of any motivated seller list by far in my history of wholesaling, and yours too, right?
Hands down. There's no comparison. My only regret in wholesaling is I didn't target and go after probates when I started. So I waited about 7 years into the journey, found out they're the most profitable deals, and I just broke it down, went over to the courthouse and figured out how to pull probates. And it took me a few months to figure it out, but like once I got it, it's like game on, man. It was very, very straightforward. It's actually simple. It's one of the most cost-effective way to get leads. The reason why you don't hear most gurus and coaches talk about it is because it's not an overnight success type of deal. You're not, it takes time and you got to build momentum. But listen, if you could put an extra 2 to 3 deals in your pipeline, averaging 30 to 50K, you would be absolutely insane not to do that. And that's what probates do. Probate has a minimum of a 3 times multiplier on your current assignment. So if you got 10 grand, you can get close to 30 grand. And honestly, probates is the one correlation I have with 6-figure deals on single family houses. Why? They're the most motivated. The houses need the most amount of love, and they are perfect for wholesalers. And here's a little caveat. If you think, well, I'm a new wholesaler, I can't do probates, it's too advanced. Actually, probates are extremely favorable to newbies because you get vacant houses, out-of-town owners, you get rundown houses that need love, need work, and you can send all your cash buyers through there without the usual obstacles you have to go through on a homeowner occupied property. Guys, for this reason alone, it's amazing. And then add the extra caveat is you can flex your time. So if you need 3 or 6 months, probates, you can work them if you need the time to put buyers through. Listen, all of us can find a buyer in 3 months. So a lot of you guys are under stress to get deals closed in like 2 weeks because that's what the seller wants. With probates, you have to get the court approval, and you can use that towards your favor, or you can use it to drag out a probate if you can't find a cash buyer for it. Guys, it is perfect. If you have no experience, I would start with probates, hands down.
I agree. And then the next one, and probably one which is probably more motivated when you talk to 100 of these sellers, is pre-foreclosures, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so what's a pre-foreclosure to you?
So the word pre is important in front of it. Foreclosure is the actual auction process when the property gets taken away from the homeowner, but it's simply a pre-foreclosure is when someone goes out and gets a mortgage on a property and they get behind on payments. It is much more common than you think it is. And the reality is once you get about two payments, you start to get some nasty phone calls. You definitely get letters and emails. Once you get 3 months behind, they're going to threaten you with a lawsuit and do what they call a lis pendens. And all it is a fancy word for a formal announcement of entering into a lawsuit. And what the banks do, remember, the banks don't own these mortgages. They just service them. So the banks are in like no big interest to get it all taken care of right away. And once it gets behind, you either have to rectify the payment or you have to go to court and you can argue the mortgage. You got about a 98% fail ratio if you try to argue it, unless you have like an extreme circumstance. And then the bank comes back, and then once they get a summary judgment, the judge issues an order to put the house up for auction. And then usually within 30 days, the property's sold, the owners are kicked out, and the title's cleared and it moves on. So it seems to understand that it would have massive motivation if you have a property in pre-foreclosure that you think those sellers would be the most motivated are. A lot of them are. The problem is you have to sort through all the procrastinators, the people that bury their heads in the sand. And I always tell you in pre-foreclosures, the sooner you catch them, the better off you can do. If you wait till the very end when the house is going to be auctioned, there's usually very little money because the fees are so jacked up. And number two, they are desperate and it's dangerous, and desperation and dangerous at the end usually results in you have to pay a lawyer to file motions to delay the sale. And at this point, it's tough. So I like to find pre-foreclosures when they just get a few months behind, because if someone's going to take an action, they're going to do it at the very beginning. They're much easier to work with than the people at the very end, because I tell them, don't call me 2 weeks before the sale date. There's nothing I can do. You have more options when you help somebody in pre-foreclosure in the first 3 months than you do in the last 30 days. 30 days, a lot of times there's not even enough money in the deal for you to work it. So I love them. The motivation's high, because if they don't do anything, not only do they lose the house, they lose all the equity, and they could possibly have a judgment against them and garnish their wages.
Probably the best part is you reach out to these people like they're not paying their mortgage. That's what a pre-foreclosure is. Yep. They're not paying their dang mortgage. Guess what? It's getting auctioned off. So within a month, ownership's changing hands. So either you lock up the deal, sell it, make a 30, 40 grand,
yep,
and help a seller out avoid bankruptcy and getting the property auctioned off. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a foreclosure is a terrible blemish on a seller's record. And so you don't want that. So you get to help a seller out and you make a ton of money. Like what else do you want?
That's
right?
why we're here.
So we're pushing probates and we're pushing pre-foreclosures. Okay. This is really important. If you just focused straight up, okay, on just those two lists, I don't know how you fail. And legit, okay, this is why we're just making it simple. If you pull all the probates and all the pre-foreclosures and you send a text to all of them, you send a call to all of them, probates, you put a sticky note on all those doors,
where's $500?
Every single one for your county in the next 60 days, there's, my personal opinion, I think there is probably a 95% chance you get a deal locked up. Probably 90% chance you're going to make 20 grand in the next 60 days. But here's the problem. I could say that. You can get all excited. Yeah. 90% chance I make 20 grand. Whoa. Right?
Yep.
But that's like 10 hours a week of work, Zach. Oh no, it's 20 hours a week of work. Can't be crying about this, okay? If you do pre-foreclosures and you do probates, we'll make a ton of money in this business, okay? So the question is, why probates? Again, why do you go after probates? Again, my biggest wholesaling deals I've ever had in my entire life, all through probates.
Hands down. Hands
down, not even close. Not even close. Because specifically, you get the most money per deal on those, right? And they are the least saturated. So you're going to deal with the least amount of competition going after you and trying to steal your deal from this. You're not going to have much competition with this, right? This is why I absolutely love probates, because there's less wholesalers than ever doing them, and you can make more money than ever doing it. It's a perfect combo, right?
Yeah, and guys, you got to understand that I know we always talk about, oh, my market's so saturated, it's this, it's that. Listen, understand that 95% of the wholesalers out there have no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to talk to people. So all they do is underwrite the deal. If you can learn me and Zach's strategies on pushing P between pre-foreclosures and probates, learn how to underwrite the seller. Because listen, all we do in real estate, everyone thinks it's all about real estate. It's the complete opposite. It is about people's problems. And if you can help walk people through their problems, get it solved, the real estate is just the math problem. So most people, when they approach a probate, for instance, hey, can I buy your house? Can I buy your house? What's the least amount you'll take? I can crush 99% of those wholesalers. Now, if you take the strategy me and Zach do, is where I just say, listen, take it slow with them, find out their story, get them talking to you, get past the stranger danger, and get into the qualifications on it. And understand on a probate, it's 5 to 6 touches. But every wholesaler is taught by all these gurus, take it down now, be aggressive, take it down. It's not going to work. Pre-foreclosures, you have to get past the procrastination issue. That is the biggest problem. And I always tell them, listen, I'm going to develop a relationship with them. And if they can make a decision early on in the pre-foreclosure process, I can give you options. I can give you dignity. I can help you with your kids, get them relocated in their school systems. I don't focus on the real estate until I get that relationship. And guys, everybody else chasing these probates and the pre-foreclosures, they're just trying to write a contract. You've got to go past it. It is everything I've done in my 21 years is dealing with people. The real estate is just, honestly, it's just a sidebar. It's nothing more than a math problem. Yeah. The math still has to work, but I teach you how to do the math without a calculator, because if you whip out a calculator, you're paying too much for it. So keep in mind when you go, well, I don't know probates, I don't know pre-foreclosures. You don't need to know everything about them. You need to know how to locate them and talk to them. That's it. The rest you can learn as you go. Guys, this ain't like school. It's not where you go through 15, 16 grades and then take a final exam. You take instruction and you go out and take action. And you result in a positive, or you get a learning experience, or you get both. That's it. And if you guys understand that, I've made my point today, because I've seen so many people, especially on the internet, they don't understand probates. And if you don't understand probates, you're going to get killed in it, and you're going to waste your time, and you're going to spin your wheels. Focus on people and let the real estate math problem just work itself out with it. But people everybody wants instant gratification. I want an instant deal. I'm going to run you over and make you an offer. I'm just telling you, in pre-foreclosures and probates, if you take that strategy, just quit now, because it's never going to work out.
No. So probates, they're great. Why do pre-foreclosures? Every single month there's a new one where the auctions
never go away.
They never go away.
They've been here in 21 years. I've been doing this, and they ebb and flow, but there is always going to be a certain percentage. Guys, most of these banks, you guys know what it takes to qualify for a mortgage. You basically have to have a 2-year stream of income. Make sure you don't go over 50% loan, your debt ratio. And long as you get a W-2, that's their only qualification. The crazy part is, someone who has, say they have their own job or something like that, and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank will more favorably give someone a job that has a W-2. And they know they're only 2-3 payments away from losing the house. And that's the crazy part. Banks give loans to people that really don't need them, and they don't give loans to people that actually need them. It's just the way the system's set up. When you're getting a loan, they do not care how much cash you have in the bank. They just care about your monthly cash flow, period, and what your debt is. And that's how they underwrite most of these loans.
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy.
So why pre-foreclosures every single month? The seller's going to probably get less equity being auctioned off by the bank. So you're actually helping the seller out with your offer, and you're making a ton of money. You help people out, and you make a ton of money. What else? So the question is, how do you pull probates, right? How's that done? How do you go out here and pull the probate list? Well, there's obviously 2 ways to pull a probate list. There's a free way and a more paid way. We'll talk about it, right? So first and foremost, free. I recommend everybody go to the clerk of the court, the county website, public records, and go do it. So we're streaming here on YouTube. So the problem here on YouTube is they are very big censor heavy. So I'm not allowed to go out here and share my screen and show you how to pull the probates on YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. So it'd be taken down. So I have a free wholesaling course called freewholesaling.com. You can go there because I have my own server, so I can just put whatever I want on there. So I put all the how to do probate, stuff like that. You can even go to my Facebook or my Instagram. Mm-hmm. They don't take all those videos down. So I got a couple reels and stuff on Instagram where you can go and see me do it. So that's good too. But overall, go to the clerk of the court website, all the public records, go by probate documents, and it should pop up. If it doesn't, try to get court dockets, which is a schedule of all the court cases for the city, county, and that's pretty much all the probate cases will be on there. Also, you can call the clerk of the court and actually talk to somebody who works there, and they could give you the information or talk to a manager or anyone in there, and you can get them. Most of them, if you do it right, you can get it online, which is really helpful, and it works really well. Now, there is also an easier way. You can actually go inside of X Leads, and if you want to upgrade your account and get what we call our lien scraper, you do get probate access. Now, the probate access is probably 2-3 weeks old, so you're able to pull probates with the X Leads probate scraper, which is pretty dang cool, in my opinion. So I'll show you how to do that really quick too. You're going to have to go out here and get it right here. And let's go out here and show you how to do the probate scraper. So let me share my screen here and show you how to do it. Let's go here and let's go here. Oh boy. Yeah, I think the cord all messed up there. Hey, no big deal. Okay. All right. So here is XLeads. So if you want to go out, you just go to xleads.com and it'll show you how to do it. But I'm just showing you the beta here of the probate scraper. So right here, all you have to do is give me a city. Anybody give me a city, let me know what city, and I'll just pull the probates there and show you how easy it is to do from there. That's why I like the probates here. So give me a city. Let's look in the comments and see what we got here. All right, let's see what city we got. What city we got? Tell me. All right, let's go check. Let's see what city we got in here. We got, okay, first one I saw here was which one we got here? Lehigh Valley? All right, we'll do Lehigh Valley County. So that's going to be Lehigh Valley County. So let's go put it in here. And hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. Who knows? All right, Lehigh Valley. Okay, let me just pop up the county, what it's called there. Lehigh River is in Lehigh. Okay, it's called Lehigh County. Okay, perfect. So let's pull the info here and let's get some probates. All right, so all I'm gonna do here is go to the, okay, I got the county. So, all right, so let's just post it in there. Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. So we're just gonna click search, see results, go to filter, and we're gonna go down here to, when you get the lien scraper, when you buy it inside of XLeads, you'll get this. You go to all the liens. It scrapes basically the government data. That's the best way I can explain it. And let's make this one a little bigger so you can see how this works in here. There we go, a little better. And let's do the deceased probate. So again, basically this is all the probate court actions and legal claims to the property. And we're gonna see how many probates for Lehigh County pops up. So it's counted on 5, so probably needs to be a little bigger for that. So let's try another city here. Some cities are crazier than others. We got Houston. All right, let's do Houston. Let's do a non-disclosure state because people really get, what's the case? So the caveat for the probates, you have to do by county, not by the city, because that's where it's pulling the data from. So if I'm looking at the probates, bigger counties always work better on this. So let's see. All right, let it search up. So it's literally pulling all the probate records for the past 5 years in XLeads. So that's going to take actually a second to do because it is a lien. It's scraped in liens right now. So let's scrape and let it go here. All right, so it's got to scrape it really quick. But essentially, it is a new beta we have in XLeads, and so we're pretty excited about that. But pretty much, oh, I got to reset the filter. That's the problem. Harris County. All right, go here. Filters are set. So basically what it does is just goes to the county, and that's how, all right, Harris County. Let me share my screen here. Okay, where's my screen? There you go. Okay. Harris County's got 1.2 million properties. Whoa. So basically all we have to do here is just go here to lien types, go to deceased probate. And this, guys, I want you guys to understand, this isn't a pre-probate. Okay. This isn't a pre-probate list where it's like, well, the person died and maybe, no, this is actually probate records.
The records, yep.
This, I mean, do you think me and Rick made a software for not the probates? Come on, get out of here. See results. And what you have to do is, this is very, very specific inside of XLeads, okay? You have to go here by, am I covering? I think I'm covering it, hold on. Okay. You have to go here by the distance and then go by lien date. So last lien date, very important. And then so this is going to be by ascending, descending. So we're going to have to click that once, and this will be the freshest probate data we can. So let's click it here. So remember, again, a lot of these are going to be probates filed right before it gets sold. So a lot of people, they don't even know how to go through probate, but they're trying to list grandma's house because all they care about is money sometimes. And they have to file the probate at the end. So you're going to see a lot of these probates sometimes hop on the MLS. I don't think a lot of people talk about that, but it's not because the data is bad. It's because the person died, no probate was filed, and they only filed the probate right before they got the money, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's common.
So the probate was filed 8/21/2024. And that was literally the date after they sold it. So they filed the probate basically on closing day, which kind of sucks. But like sometimes that's how these probates shake up, right?
Yeah, it just depends on how title was taken, if it's joint tenantship with right to survivorship. There's a lot of ways. Probate's weird because like even if you have a homesteaded property and there's a married couple and one passes away, you still have to put it in probate to pull it out of probate. So it's kind of weird, but listen, whenever there's a probate, it's just identifying an opportunity. It's never a guarantee you're going to get a great wholesale deal, but all the great wholesale deals do come from probates one way or the other, either on purpose or by accident.
Yeah. So if you go here, you can actually get the details of the probate, and they'll pop up here. Oh Lord, I swear, if YouTube takes this video down, I'm be so
You better
mad.
get it off.
Basically, who cares? I just got to show how cool Xleaze is. Basically, it's the deceased, but also it gets the heirs. Look, it says heirs. Get out of here. Come on, it's got the heirs literally in there. The PR is literally listed right here. Come on. Does it have date of death? As date of death. So it literally has all the information. So it is 2 weeks old. That is the issue with our probate scraper. Of course, we're working on making it even better and better and better and better. This is a beta, so we're not including it inside of Xleads. You have to like upgrade it because it is a work in progress. We're not comfortable making it for everyone yet. If you're somebody who wants to go nuts on it, you can do it. But I will tell you, this thing's insane. So that's how you pull the probates the easiest way using Xleads. Xleads is the best software. Like just, it's not even close. It's not even close to any of the other ones. I can't legally say them, but you know what I'm talking about. So that's how you pull the probates the easy way. Now, there's other ways out here to pull probates outside of just the clerk of the court. You can get the court dockets and all those other things too. Just go to Wholesaling.com. We share exactly how to do it right in there. Now, how do you pull the pre-foreclosure list? Well, that's a lot easier. It's just go to the clerk of the court and get it. That is it. So for free, clerk of the court. So what you do, you specifically for pre-foreclosures, you go after a list called the list pendant section or the notice of defaults. Those are going to be the court records or the court actions the bank takes on the seller when they stop paying their mortgage. So usually 120 days-ish. Yeah. Until they start getting bad letters and bad payments, and then they start trying to. So basically, the process is for a pre-foreclosure. Let me actually pop it up. It's actually freeholstein.com.
So guys, if you go to your court and ask for the pre-foreclosure list, they're not going to give it to you.
They don't know what it is.
They don't understand what you're saying. So if you ask for the foreclosure list, then you're going to get the properties that are on for auction. So using the words notice of default and list pendants, that's where you're going to find your pre-foreclosures, and that's what they're going to be titled under the court. We use pre-foreclosure. It's kind of wholesaler slang. Just understand if you use it outside of wholesalers, nobody understands what you're saying. So just be aware of it.
So if you go to freeholstein.com, this is actually the process of pre-foreclosure we have on the course, which is a free course. Doesn't cost any money. Just go to freeholstein.com, FYI. But basically, this is how the process kind of shakes up here, okay? Where you start, first of all, the seller starts missing, 1 to 3 payments, and nothing really happens. They get letters from the bank. Hey, you stopped paying us, give us money, or we're going to foreclose. Then they get into what we call a pre-foreclosure. Now, a pre-foreclosure is right before it gets foreclosed on, right? So usually 120 days, the notice of default is filed. It goes on public record. This is when us wholesalers are able to actually find out the people that are not paying their mortgage. That is called a pre-foreclosure. Now, let's skip the next one. Auction date set. So they file the notice of default. They basically tell the judge, hey, court, I'm letting you know that this person is not paying. Here's proof they're not paying, and we need to take the property back because they're not paying the mortgage. And it usually takes what? How long usually from what you've seen from its notice of default to auction date? Because it's kind of all over the board, right?
Yeah. So there's one big determining factor across the country. You're either in a judicial state or a non-judicial state. That's important to know where you are. You can easily look that up. So like in the state of Florida is when you get a mortgage, you are the rightful owner of the property. You actually have the deed, the title, and that's a longer process because they are forced to take court action. In a non-judicial state, they do what they call a deed of trust. It's very confusing. It really doesn't mean what you think it is because people think deed and trust. So what happens is it's kind of like when you get a car note. So if you buy a car and you finance it, the bank holds the electronic record or the physical title until you pay off the balance of the loan. So that's what happens in a deed of trust. Now, the downside of the deed of trust, they can foreclose much, much faster because a lot of deed trust, they don't even have to go through a formal foreclosure process, even though most of them do. So I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving legal advice. Just determine if you're in a judicial or non-judicial state. You can do a simple Google search. It's very straightforward. And remember, if you're in a non-judicial, they can go just faster. That's it. That's the only difference. So sometimes they still take a long time. So the typical case, like in Florida in a judicial state, is anywhere from 12 to 18 months on average. Now, sometimes banks forget about foreclosures. Remember, they have millions and millions of notes and stuff gets lost all the time. Like when we went through the market correction back in 2008 to 2012, it was taking 5 and 7 years to foreclose on properties because they were so far behind. So part of it is based on the activity of the court levels. Activity's not high, but I will tell you, the foreclosure crisis, the pre-foreclosure it's ramping up there. And one of the two biggest indicators you can follow is you can follow unemployment, although it's very confusing how the government does the stats anymore. Very, very confusing because most of them are government jobs being created. And number two, you look at credit card debt. It is at an all-time high, meaning people are borrowing, like we're well over $1 trillion. We've never been at this category before. And that's all personal debt. And eventually that is going to have a huge impact on any type of pre-foreclosure or foreclosure. And if that thing does not start coming down, usually foreclosures are indicative of going up. So that's what we're seeing going forward. And remember, people struggled to get their houses refinanced. So there's quite an uptick. We've seen it in the commercial market, and we fully expect it in the single family residential market as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think real estate prices are going to go be crashing down.
I don't think they're going to crash down.
With interest rates going down, I think they're just going to be jacking up.
But remember, everything seems to work in slow motion in the economy. And remember, real estate, as much as it rocketed up, the one thing real estate, it didn't crash overnight. And so the inventory is getting a little bit more level, but it just depends on where you are in the country.
Some markets, real estate's going to crash?
No.
That's what I said. Yeah.
It's not. But I think it's going to even out and be more of a fair playing field, which I think that's good for a wholesaler. Listen, I don't care if the market's up or down. As long as I'm finding discounted properties from motivated sellers, that's all we care about. I love when people go to me and go, are you okay in today's market? I'm fine. Like I survived in 2009, guys, one of the absolute most dreadful markets to get through. And what I learned is all that pent up demand when people not trading properties, it carried over for the next 10 years. So like sometimes the ebb and flow is really good for real estate, any type of business. That's just how it works. Nobody wishes for hurricanes, but the landscapers all want some sort of storm. They want everyone to live, but they get a ton of business for the next 2 years. It's the same thing in real estate. What goes up, it will eventually flatten out. I just think the inflationary pressure is going to protect us somewhat against prices rapidly dropping because the cost to build a new house and the materials is just ridiculous. And we've never had this much inflationary pressure in history. And then inventory it's still low. And as long as you have those two things pressing, I don't see a major shift. There'll be an adjustment, but when I talk about a decline 10, 15%, I just don't see it happening.
No.
But remember, I don't know. And honestly, all I can do is make assumptions, but it doesn't change what I do in wholesaling. I love when people make statements wholesaling. Oh my God, all these houses in pre-foreclosure, we're just going to kill it. It's ridiculous. If you consistently wholesale every day, you don't have to play that game. People do it to hype up, mostly to sell you products. The reality is if you're in real estate every day and you keep fighting it, you'll always have deals lined up. If market goes up, you pay a little bit more. Market goes down, you pay a little bit less. The reality is you're either shifting from buyers to sellers and sellers to buyers. And that's how the game is played. I've been doing it 21 years. I just kind of laugh when people go, the market's going to crash. The market's going to do this. It's like, nobody knows. Me and Zach don't know. We have a good idea where it's going, but like I've been wrong before. And I love when people you ever see when people make guesstimates. They can miss it 15 times, but if they get it right once, they just play the video over and over. So it's just be active, guys. That's the key.
I agree. And so to keep talking here, basically the auction date is set, and that is when it gets basically set to get foreclosed on. Then we get in the foreclosure auction, or what they call REO, where the bank basically owns it, real estate owned, and the bank wants to sell it for what is owed at minimum. And again, most sellers will deal with you 3 to 7 days for the auction. So what I mean by that is a lot of sellers with pre-foreclosures, you call them up, say you want to look, or maybe they answer a text and you call them up, right? And they say, I'm looking to sell. That's great, but that's not the average one. The average one's going to say, no, I don't need to sell. But you're going to auction in 2 weeks. Oh, I don't need to sell, man. I got it taken care of, bro. And what they do is they call you 3 days for the auction. Hey, I'm getting my property auctioned off tomorrow. I need help. And there's, especially in a judicial state, there's nothing you can really do. Now, if you're in California and you can do a lot of crazy stuff there,
Yep.
You can get around that. But that's the main issue. Now, the reason why I told you to skip all that other stuff, right, is because if you look here, when the auction date is set, you could still wholesale it, but it gets a lot harder to save the seller, save the deal, and get a deal locked up. It's
challenging.
Exponentially harder.
And guys, keep in mind, when an auction date's set, that's when the rookie wholesalers all come out. Those are the people that like walk around the property and freak out the homeowners. And now you have competition and you're going to have to bid it up to get it. That's why me and Zach want you to get them sooner than later, because nobody wants to mess with them in the beginning because they figure they're not going to be motivated till the end. So take the opposite approach and try to give the seller options. They all won't take it. I'm the first to tell you. But once that auction date's set, it's on a very public list. And all of a sudden, like the vultures circle. And they just don't care about people, dude. They'll walk through, they'll peek through the windows. And that's usually when your seller will call you back. We try to make a deal, but sometimes they've stripped so much equity out of it by living in free for so long and never making a payment. There's only so much you can do. And guys, understand that homeowner up to that point, maybe it's been 10 or 12 months, never went to one court hearing, never put in a plea, nothing. The judge is not crazy about listening to their sob story at the end. Now, they will listen that they have a contract that will cover the debt and satisfy the court. That's about it. So if you want to fight off an auction, make sure you got a legitimate buyer, make sure you got a executed contract, and then you have to submit it to the courts, usually with an attorney, and that can cost money. And listen, I don't want you guys to hire an attorney to do this. You're better off catching them in the front and getting options. And if you can save the homeowner, put money in their pocket, give them dignity, give the cash buyer a good deal, and you get an assignment fee, that is a win-win-win that you want to do all aboard. And that's why we like pre-foreclosure so much.
It happens a lot. I see a lot of wholesalers freaking out over it. So the perfect way you want to do this is, if you look inside of here, right, we have the pre-foreclosure, where we actually are able to get the list, and then we have when the auction date's set. In the middle here is what I call the wholesaling window of opportunity. So this is your time right before the auction date gets sent to lock up a deal.
Absolutely.
That is it. So it's the time to market, time to get a deal signed, time to assign the contract, get your money, man. Like that's the point here. That is the goal. And that is what we're looking to do. And that is the best way to go out here and get a wholesaling real estate deal. I made a stupid amount of money on pre-foreclosures. I think you have too. You know it works, right?
Yeah, no, it works. And guys, understand, people in pre-foreclosure, every state, they have rights. Like in the state of Florida, they have a 3-day, it's not called a redemption period. They have 3 days to get out of a contract. So if you sign a contract, I let them know they got 3 days to think about it. Here's the reality, guys. You need them all the way till the end. And honestly, even if they weren't in pre-foreclosure, if they called you 3 days after they signed the contract, you're still going to have to overcome it. So don't freak out about it. A lot of times when they're in pre-foreclosure and any type of distress situation, I will go to my title company and review what additional documents can I sign to make sure I'm complying with all state laws. And 9 times out of 10, you just got to let them know you can get out of the contract in X amount of days, and here's your obligation. But the bottom line is, anybody in any type of foreclosure situation, if you can't get them to cooperate to the end, you cannot force them to close. So don't threaten, don't do any of that. Make sure they're 100% committed to you. If they're going to be waffling on you, be very careful you enter an agreement because you might be working for free. So laws are there to protect them against predatory people. Remember, your job is to help the homeowner out, not hurt the homeowner. And if you're going to put it under contract and you got an auction date, you better make sure you got a robust cash buyers list, because if you put that homeowner in jeopardy and they lose the house because you didn't know what you're doing, you're 100% liable. And you shouldn't be doing that. If that is your case, go pair up with a more seasoned wholesaler and split the proceeds. It's better than doing that. I've seen so many wholesalers that put a property under contract in pre-foreclosure. They have an auction date and they can't find a buyer, and they just keep dragging it out till the very end. Don't be that person. Help them out. If you don't have a cash buyers list, JV with someone that'll help you get it done, because you owe it to help that homeowner out. You are not optioning the homeowner. You have to help them. And that's the key difference on how we teach working with pre-foreclosures.
Exactly. And so that is the pre-foreclosure process. Now, there are other ways so you can go out here and get it like an easier way. So there are softwares that do it like the probates, where you'll get it, but it's still like 2 or 3 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Because it's scraping the information. So for a long time, people have been using dmzac.com for it. ListREI.com is a great way to get the pre-foreclosure list. ZachData.com, right? All those. But for what we've seen, for us, we like xleads.com the best for doing the pre-foreclosures because it is the most updated. So if you want to go inside of xleads and pull the pre-foreclosure list, let me show you how to do it in there. So let's go here. Let's go right here. All right. So we are in the so we are in xleads right now. And let's go out here and pull a list. So let's see what county we can pull here. Somebody wants me to do, let's see here, Orlando. Okay, we'll just do Orlando real quick. So all you gotta do is go to Orlando, which is technically Orange County, Florida, but that's fine. Just go to Orlando, pop it up here. All right, let that search really quick. I think it's searching the probates because that was already done on there. So all you gotta do, let's just reset the filtering here. There we go. Okay, Orlando. Perfect. All right, so let's load it up. And basically what we're gonna do here is get the pre-foreclosures. So basically we got here, we inside xleads, we picked Orlando. And the best way for us to do it is just go inside of here, go to filters, and we can go out here and figure out if the property is in pre-foreclosure or not. So what I personally like to do is first, I like to filter out, make sure we only got single family properties here, make sure it hits whatever criteria we want, make sure it's an individual property. I don't care about ownership too much in it. Loan type doesn't really matter for me, sale date, all these things. And we can basically go off of last notice date. So I can pull all the pre-foreclosures for the past month, 3 months, whatever you want. You can figure out if there's an auction date set. So let's do the past 3 months, and we're going to find all the pre-foreclosures, and you can load them up, and boom, they popped up here. And the cool part about pre-foreclosures is, so it's already got a caution because like this property is probably already done. But basically the auction dates, not the auction date, the pre-foreclosure date is already on there. So you can go here and you go by auction date, which you don't want an auction date to be set. So heck, if you can do the last month, you can pop it on there and it'll pop up for the past month. And they got all the freshest probate information. So yeah, I think it's about a week or two from it and then it pulls it. But that's pretty much any other software you're going to use. So that's the best way to pull the pre-foreclosures with a software. So this was xleads. Go to xleads.com. It's only $49 a month, which is cheaper than any other software out here for pulling the pre-foreclosure list, comp, stuff like that. So check out xleads.com. But basically, that is how you do the paid way. Now, there's also free ways. Again, Clerk of the Court is going to be the best way for you to do it. Check out the Instagram, freewholesaling.com, free course. That is the other best way to do it from there. But overall, looking at it, pre-foreclosures, probates are absolutely amazing. Now, I will want to let you guys know there are some big downsides to probates that you should know starting out. First and foremost, with probates, they do take a little longer. Not going to lie. So don't be walking in here looking to close your probate deal in 2 weeks. It takes a little more effort, but you're making a lot more money, right?
Yeah. Look at it is If you had to take remember like the old farmer's trick, you put a seed and you come back 6 months later and you harvest your food, your plant, or you sell it. Same thing like this. So if you took $100 bill and buried it in the ground and you came back and made 50 grand, you would all do it. And if you look at it from that, the problem in wholesaling is everybody wants that instant gratification. If you're willing to bypass it and put your time in, you can get an incredible return. We've got multiple probates going on right now for very, very large figures. And we have to get through these little title issues. Yeah. Sometimes an heir has to sign a document. They don't cooperate. Sometimes it's tied to another probate. Another family member passed away. And keep in mind, you have one job as a wholesaler: to locate the probates, find the PR, and connect with them. If you can master that and let the other people help you sort out that stuff, Zach, Rick, your title company, sometimes realtors, believe it or not, but you come from a society where you try to learn everything and you're never going to learn everything. I've been doing this 21 years. Almost every day something comes up. I'm like, I've never seen that before. I didn't have that happen to me before. And you just have to be a student of learning. That's what life is. This is no different. So I love when people, I used to get probates from people like, I don't know what to do. We can't clear the title. I go, well, give it to me. Yeah, you could take it. That's crap. I took that deal. Now it would take me 3 to 6 months. I come back, I'd make $50,000, $75,000. And the wholesaler go, how'd that deal work out? I go, it worked out okay. Like, I don't like over broadcast it. I'm like, if you're that dumb to give me leads like that. And that's how I figured short sales long before they changed the rules on them. Wholesalers just dumped short sales in 2009 and 10. I took 75 in and I just picked away at them. But you know what? They both had the same common denominator problem. I can't get an instant assignment contract and get my $10,000 or $15,000. I go, okay, I'll take 6 months and I'll make 50 to 70,000. And here's the best part. They give me these leads for free. And that's how I figured out and really dialed in probates. Short sales, it's not that easy. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. The banks have written the rules where they wildly discourage flipping on it. But probates, guys, if you put, say, a $10 bill in the ground, you came back and picked up $10,000, everyone, you all would be out there planting right now. And I'm telling you, the mindset, the shift, somehow a wholesaler was like this overnight, try to get rich quick business. And if you build the foundations, you understand the fundamentals, big problems take time to solve. So don't let a couple months discourage you. Me and Zach tell you, put 2 years in. If you want to be completely financially free and get control of your time and spend time with loved ones, because that's the goal of how we teach you, then we're your guys. But if you wanted, like, you need 10 grand now and you go like, you're ready to burn the edge of the earth, I could still show you how to do it, but you're not going to be able to sustain it for the long run. And that's the problem, is you got to take some short-term money and you got to have some huge long-term wins. Wholesaling is the art of finding discounted properties and doing it over and over again. Is it a job? Absolutely. But the reality is the asset you acquire is going to give you the freedom, the financial freedom, and most importantly, the freedom of your time. But you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Not everything's easy. I always tell you, if it's hard up front, it's going to be easy at the end. If it's super easy up front, you're going to regret it 9 times out of 10. Not everything's easy. Occasionally we get lucky, but for the most part, anything worthwhile, you got to put in the hard work. You put in the hard work, you get the wholesale deal under the right contract price, and then finding a cash buyer is easier. But a lot of you guys do it the opposite way. You go on MLS or you get like a Zillow and oh my God, they said yes to my offer. They said yes to your offer because it's almost retail, and every one of your cash buyers told you you're an idiot. And now you got to unwind the contract or renegotiate it. Now it's twice as painful. And if you just took the initial approach of going to freewholesaling.com and learning the fundamentals of the business, we can fix your problem. But it's up to you guys. If you want to put in the work, guys, 2 years, I know you go, oh my God, 2 years, 24 months, it seems like forever. It's nothing. It's nothing. So if you can't stuck up 3 months, you're probably not going to make it past the 2 years. Me and Zach always tell you the truth in this business. It's up to you if you actually want to go in and put in the work.
I'm telling you, that's it. So the deals do take a little longer. It's a little more of a headache, not going to lie. It's just, these are longer deals. And you are going to have to deal with sometimes multiple sellers and parties, right? So that is another issue. But I think the amount of money you can make is definitely worth it. But it's important just knowing exactly like what are some issues with it sometimes. Same thing with pre-foreclosures. I will let everybody know. There's some downsides to pre-foreclosures too, right? First and foremost, I don't like calling this list. It's a terrible list to cold call. It's very hard to cold call. They don't like answering because they get 5,000 loan companies and servicing companies and all these type of other companies trying to call them. They rarely answer their phones. So texting is going to be a better option for them. And again, most sellers in a pre-foreclosure ignore their problems. They don't ignore their problems if there are a code violation or something like that. But when they are on the pre-foreclosure list, they do not want to deal with their problems at all. And that is a main issue. But if you get over that, you can make a ton of money in this business. And again, the worst probably thing about pre-foreclosure, I would say, is because it's an easy list to pull from the county, or anyone can just go to software and pull it. Cool thing in probate's like you can only go to X leads to get it, which is pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
But the main issue with pre-foreclosures, every software has it, especially the ones I mentioned, So there's going to be a little more competition with it. But most of them can get the list, but they don't do much when they get the lists. And that's a really important thing to say. So how do you market to P leads, to probates, and pre-foreclosures? How do you market to them? I'll tell you this. If you have a probate, I would say focus mainly on cold calling, focus on sending some direct mail to them or any type of probate letters, which we teach in Wholesaling.com and I do, and text the snot out of the seller. Now, pre-foreclosure is going to be a little different. No calling. I would say just focus on texting them and reverse drawing for dollars. That is the best way to get them. If you want to get in their phone numbers, you go to cyberbackgroundchecks.com or you can go to triplesearch.com. That's another good way to do it. That's how you get the phone numbers for free. Again, I want to say there's also a massive secret you do need to know for this type of list. And we're saving the best for last year. All right, ready for this? If probates and pre-foreclosures show up on the same list, you need to hammer them twice as hard.
Yeah, we got, I think, 3 deals going around nationwide that have push and P twice. So it's like, you want to talk about the ultimate stacked list. If I had to pick 2, it would be 100% these 2. Like if you gave me 2 of the biggest pain points, give me these 2 Ps, I'll take them all day long because they compound. Because now you have a sensitive, now they need help and they have a critical time crunch. So when you put those 2 together is the perfect storm for a great wholesale deal. And remember, they need help. Sellers don't choose to get in this position. They just freeze and they don't know what to do. That's why there will always be opportunities for wholesalers. Because do you think a realtor can solve this? No, they can't. Because a lot of these houses on top of it, they're really rough.
Yeah.
They're rough, they're vacant. And so like to go ahead and throw that on MLS, it would take you months to sort out the paperwork to find an actual cash buyer that wants to take over that project.
That's the main issue. But you got to remember, if you pull 100 probates and 100 pre-foreclosures and 5 properties show up in both of them, whoa, you need to go all in on those 5 properties. Those, massive motivation. Double P.
Yeah.
If it's twice, it's going to be twice as good, so you got to go twice as hard on those lists. And that's exactly the top wholesaling real estate lists for 2024. You know why? Because they work.
They do.
They're the most motivated, and they'll get you money wholesaling houses. So guys, let me know what you guys think about those lists. Are you pulling them or you're not? If you're struggling doing it, let us know, and we'd love to go out here and help you out. I'm telling you right now, that is the best way for you to go out here and get the most money possible for success wholesaling real estate. So if you got any questions, let us know. We'd love to answer them and answer all the questions you guys have today and make you the best wholesaler possible. So we got Push and P in the background. Love it. And help you guys out. So
guys, when it comes to pre-foreclosures, you'll hear a lot of talk. Hey, the bank offered me a loan modification. I want you to understand what that means. Loan modifications have close to a 90% failure ratio. 90%.
Why is that?
Because you're just kicking the can down the road. So here's how a loan modification, say you owe 200 grand on a house and you missed, say, 3 or 4 payments. They're like, hey, your payment's $1,500 a month. Okay. They go, I tell you what we'll do is your payment will go up just a hair, like 1510, but we're going to add $8,000 to the back of your loan. Or one of the newest ones that have been coming up, instead of doing a 30-year mortgage, they'll spread it to 35 or 40. They're going to play the same games that the cars companies do. And honestly, if you've already had problems at that number, probably within a year, you're going to have that problem. Now, here's how a loan modification reads. Once you miss one payment, they don't have to restart the foreclosure. They just take over where they left off. 90% failure ratio. The banks do it because it's a quick money grab for them. Because remember, banks, it's not the bank's money. That money's on Wall Street. The bank gets paid to service it. So the more crap they do pushing paperwork around, that's why you never see urgency in foreclosure for the bank. The bank doesn't care. They're just servicing the loan. It's like a property manager if they were servicing like one of your pieces of property. If you put the window in or not, like whatever, the tenant's not happy with it, but the owner won't put it in. They just push paperwork. So when it comes to it, when you hear loan modification, it rarely works out. And honestly, if they go 6 months and they don't do it, they're in trouble. They also have to recertify the mortgage, and they have to guarantee they're going to live there 2 years. And if you guys ever seen loan modification, you're thinking about doing a creative financing, you could have problems. So make sure you get help when you do it. So the other thing is on the pre-foreclosures, these are public lawsuits. You should not be struggling to find this stuff. So either use X leads or get the information directly from the county courthouse. And most of you can get this information online. Probates, they're going to take a little bit more work. Actually, a lot more work. I'm going to be honest with you. So either use a system like X leads to use the probate scraper, or you're just going to have to figure out how to go down and pull the probate or pay for an online account to get access to it. Make the decision, guys. Remember, just because a list is free doesn't always mean it's easy. You're going to have to earn it.
Exactly.